I am Prince TAJUDEEN OLUSI. I am honored with 2 national honors, M.O.N. and O.O.N. I am also the Baba of Akwa Kingdom in the BADAGRY local government. As a Muslim, I have 2 chieftaincy titles of Baba Adini on the island of Lagos, Okeani to be specific, and at Shangotedu, where I reside, and also at our town in Apa, Badagry division.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sir, we are talking about my Asiwaju story. We want to ask you, who is Asiwaju? How did you go to meet Asiwaju?
Well, Asiwaju happened to be my brother, my junior brother. We are both from Lagos, the island of Lagos, and we belong to the indigenous community of Lagos. We had the opportunity of being mothered by our late Alhaja Abibatu Magaji of blessed memory, a prominent market woman leader in Lagos. By explanation, when I was a young baby growing up, Mama used to carry me, at her back. When my mother is busy, or when my senior sisters who are grown up, who are larger mothers, Abibat mate, age group, when they are busy. So Mama is my mother. And coincidentally, Mama is also mother of our president-elect, former distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I started politics at a very early age. I became a councillor at the age of 25 or 26. I was elected a councillor on the 15th of October, 1962. I was born on the 13th of October, 1936. The point I am trying to make is that this placed me at an advantage. I have been in the arena of politics, because before my junior brother, Bola. But while we were working with Papa Chief Awolowo, Alhaji Daudu, late Alhaji Daudu, late Alhaji Jakonde, late Alhaji Jakonde, late Alhaji, and a host of others. Bola was, I would call her with very great respect at that time, the errand boy that Mama would send to bring fruits to us at meetings or to carry messages to the meeting. You know, we hold regular meetings at Dr. Duarte's place at Idumagbo Avenue. You know, where you have Daddy's clinic. The area is Itagarawu. Mama was also living at Itagarawu, very close to the Oyas compound. That is the Oyas Muscourage compound at Itagarawu. So it's it's within a walking distance. So Mama would send Bola, you know, to carry messages to us, you know, at that time. That was the beginning of our upbringing. That was the beginning of our association.
Yes, sir. Daddy, what personality can you tell me about Asiwaju?
And well, Asiwaju is a kind a person who is considerate and kind, a person who loves to bring people up, a person who wants to raise the standard of living, the standard of people to a very appreciable height. And when I say the man is kind to a fault, let me give you one example. There was a day, you know, a colleague of mine, a former councillor of Lagos State, this elder person is over 90 now, maybe 91 to 92 now. He had his 80th birthday. Bola was out of the country, you know. Then when Bola returned, I and this my Egbon visited him. And I told Bola, Alhaji had his 80th birthday, and we gathered ourselves and we made him happy. Well, he said, oh, congratulations, congratulations. And when we were departing, Bola arranged that the man should be presented with a sum of 50,000 naira.
That was then.
And let me tell you, I was shocked. I told the man in the face, this is too much. 50,000 naira at the stretch. But you see, I learned a lesson from that, because this elderly man, this Lagosian from a expected area of Lagos, was so happy that when he returned to his home, he summoned his children the following Sunday and presented the money and said, look, Bola had given me a birthday present. You can imagine the lasting impression, you know, that deed will make with the children. So when that my Egbon reported to me, I learned a lesson, you know, and I also made a resolution that whatever I can do to make people happy, you know, in my own little way, I will continue to do that. That tells you the kind of a person Bola is. And when we talk of Bola, we talk of somebody I will describe as the chief recruitment officer. I started my working life in the personnel office. I later worked as a personnel officer. So I realized, you know, what recruitment means and the detail that you have to go into. You must ensure that the man has the ability, that he has the capability. And anyone you are going to recruit for any service is a person who will be able to deliver. And that is Bola. I want to give you one example. There was a gentleman. This gentleman is working with Loma today. He was in United Kingdom, precisely in London, and he met Bola. You know, after some discussions, after 2 meetings, Bola told him, although presently you are in the banking business, but you can come home. There are several areas that you can be of service to your country. Today, this man is in Nigeria. This man is working for Loma, and Loma is making tremendous progress. So that is Bola. You see, Bola is also a person who appreciates people's contribution. Appreciate people. Like I said, the man is chief recruitment officer. I'll give you another example. And I want to cite the example of my brother, my son, barrister Fashola, barrister Babatunde Fashola. By profession, I have said barrister. So Babatunde qualified as a lawyer. And Babatunde was working with Asiwaju's uncle at our elder Gafar Tinubu's chamber, at somewhere very, very close to Iroquois. And when it became necessary for Asiwaju to leave Nigeria as a result of his activities in the NADECO, he handed over all his properties, all his business, everything. He handed it over to Babatunde Fashola. And when he returned, Asiwaju reported to me and some other people that he was surprised. Fashola was so honest that he handed over everything perfectly all right, that the management was excellent, that he was surprised at that extraordinary honesty, of Babatunde Fashola. And that also gives him the opportunity, as I said, as a recruitment officer, to recruit Fashola into the service of Lagos State when he became the governor. And today, Fashola had risen, to federal level, where presently he is serving as the federal minister of works. At one time, he had 3 portfolio. One was with minister, was housing. That shows, the ability that God, the maker of heavens and earth, had given to Bola, that he can assess people, he can look at them and make, correct and everlasting.
I said, when Fashola was a minister, when he was granting an interview in the National Assembly, is it one of the reasons why Fashola was saying that may your loyalty never be tested? He can never said any bad thing about Asiwaju.
Yeah, but you see, because they had the opportunity, to work together. From the beginning they were brothers, in the Tinubu family. In fact, Fashola was part of that family, along with Asiwaju's brother, the one in the oil business, Wale Tinubu, and the late Honorable Commissioner. So they grew up together, in the Tinubu house. And so, therefore, they build affection, they build that loyalty together. And it is important, that they continue. And what Fashola is saying is that they are together and that they will continue, to show that loyalty which they have built, together. So it is, as far as I'm concerned, it is not extraordinary. It is what they have built together over the years, and they need, to guard the same. ẹ̀yìn àwọn Yorùbá ní kí ọmọ aráyé kó má da epo sí ààlà wa. So that is what Fashola was saying.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Asiwaju, can you brief me, because this president that Asiwaju has come into now,
Yeah.
I think it's not a one-day race.
Yeah.
Is it by God or by the hearts of people?
Well, you see, we live in a world where you have knowledge in different forms, in different ways, and in different communities. I want to start by referring to a Christian hymn where it is stated that gods are by God anointed. That kings are by God anointed. That song was that kings are by God anointed. That kings are raised and are anointed. And when we say kings, it is not only those who wear bearded crowns or those who wear coronated crowns. All the leaders in their own right are kings at different level, at different community. And so, in many cases, there are spiritual connotation in the issue of individuals who become leaders, who become rulers. And Asiwaju's case there's no exception. I want to refer to one aspect where we learned in history. You remember Vasco da Gama in the old Rome. He was walking on the highway and he saw a young man. A woman was walking with her baby, a young male baby. And Vasco crossed from one end of the street to the other end. He knelt down and said to the baby, "Your Holiness." And he got up and he said, "That is the Pope of the future." And that young boy of that day later became Pope in the history of Roman Empire. So therefore, I want to say from what I have seen that spiritual connotation. You see, before Asiwaju became a governor, before he became a senator, there used to be an affair on the island of Lagos at Ekpetedo. And I mentioned Asiwaju's name, at the time when he wanted to be a member of the House of Rep and when he wanted to be, before he became a senator. And the man said, ìràwọ̀ ẹ ga o, meaning to say that the stars, they are high, the stars are high. He even asked me that, is he the son of a king? But this star, that was, the beginning, the very, very. And so, I have mentioned that. Let us move to the area of presidency.
Yeah, sir.
No. I want to give one or two, spiritual connotation, with the issue of presidency.
That is what I want to ask you.
Okay.
Yes, because Abiola time is hope.
Yeah.
Now that
so there we have another hope. A reenactment, a recontinuation of the hope that Abiola brought. And don't forget, we were part of the planning of that hope of Abiola. Asiwaju was there, I was there, a number of us, we were there. And don't forget that Asiwaju was one of the people from our own side who took Abiola to Musa Yar'Adua. at the farm to obtain Musa Yar'Adua's blessing for Abiola. We even, some of us even blame them for doing that. That tells you that it was part of the beginning. But we talk about ordainment, that this issue of his becoming president has been ordained by the Almighty God. Let me cite an example from that. There's a picture that is being circulated today when Abiola visited Abacha at the O.O.N barracks, where you will find Asiwaju wearing T-shirt and I think with a bow tie or so, at the back, to say like an assistant to Abiola at that visit. But I was there at the beginning, and it was one of the people there, who suggested that Abiola Asiwaju should follow him. And I being the chairman of Lagos State then, Social Democratic Party, they asked me, do you approve? I said, yes, you should follow him. If you follow him, that is the SDP. And in fact, during the course of his staying overnight, because Abiola was not ready in time, they were to go at 10, they waited 10, 11, 12, and all this. But Asiwaju was telephoning me at the end of the day, like after 5, they left for the O.O.N barracks. And because they did not go at the dead of the night, that gave the opportunity for photographers, the press working at the O.O.N barrack at that time, to take that photograph. But let me tell you, recently, during our electioneering campaign, we visited Obas of Yoruba land. And at the palace of the Olowo of O.O.N, that very day, that photograph was used by one of the newspapers, and I pointed out that that was the very first indication that we cannot interpret. But now we are able to see clearly and interpret. And I interpreted that photograph to mean that Abiola, although you made all the efforts, you were not successful, but this your follower. That is Bola Ahmed Tinubu will surely, definitely sit on the throne of the presidency of Nigeria. All those who were present at the palace of Olowo at that day will remember, my presentation and speech. Apart from that, you see, and Asiwaju now came in through Muslim ticket. It was not his own making. Some people, the thing arose from planning. When you plan, you want to look at where there are more folks, and you don't want to hurt them. You want their maximum support. So it is necessary to give them, in the language of politicians, what is due to them. But let me tell you, the thing from the very, very beginning was God's made. How do I know? I had an elder who today has joined our ancestors, a prominent lawyer, the late Otunba Adewumi. He was one time chairman Shomolu local government during the regime of Alhaji Jakonde. We had very close affinity, and he's a person who loves me, and I have very great respect for him. He sent for me. He established a church at Iworo, where white garment church, where they hold regular prayers. He became a priest, a leader of that white garment church. And he told me that during the course of prayers, it was revealed that Asiwaju will join a ticket of Muslim to become president or vice president of the country. Long time. And he suggested at that point in time that Asiwaju and Buhari should join together and to become Muslim. He called his wife as a witness. And he rose up while he was speaking that, Prince, I say Muslim ticket. I am a Christian, but this is what has been revealed to me. At that point in time, I told Asiwaju, and he thanked me, but he did not at that point in time follow that advice or that instruction. In fact, at that time, we brought Mr. Professor Patu Tomi, Atiku, Alhaji Atiku, and Buhari, and maybe one or two presidential aspirants to John Street, Governor's Lodge at Ikeja, where they met us. Isaac John Street. I was not particularly pleased with that meeting because I was particular about the message that I have delivered to him. And when the people left with members of JAC alone, I rose up, like in the fit of anger, and addressed the gathering that I have delivered a crucial message to my brother Asiwaju, who was seated, of this issue of Muslim ticket, and that they should take the risk, but he has not followed the instruction, And he cooled me down and appealed to the gathering to let the thing. That was at the time that he was promoting Atiku. You remember Atiku came to our party and contested, and in fact, he lost also. He contested, I cannot remember, AC or ACN. So he contested. That was the period. So that you can see now that the message that was not taken seriously, the message that was not respected at that point in time, now surfaced at God's own time, and we won. And by the grace of God, by God's grace, is today the president. So that is why I can argue anywhere in the world that the president we have today has been anointed by God.
What will you say about the youth of Nigeria? Because we want the youth of Nigerians to know that Asiwaju is somebody that is a build maker, that can recruit people, that can bring youth and make them something in Nigeria. Because most of the youth does not know who is Asiwaju.
Asiwaju, as a person, is a developer, a developer of persons, a developer of human beings. We have developers in our developmental system today. These developers develop buildings, old buildings or new buildings. They develop it at a price. As Asiwaju is a developer who do not collect fees. I say Asiwaju is a developer. There are several examples where Asiwaju has raised the people by giving them the necessary support to acquire skill, to acquire needed education so that they can fit into the society and they can be able to perform special roles and advance. Because without this education, without the necessary skill, you cannot move forward. So that is an area of speciality, and you can cite many examples. Let me cite 1, 2, or 3. I will mention a name. Àwọn Yorùbá sọ kinní kan, wọ́n ní tí oògùn ẹni bá dá ẹ ní ojú wàá fi gbárí. That if you are sure of your facts, then you'll be able to assert that fact. I have one of my children as a father in the Lagos community by the name Rasaki Liasu. Rasaki Liasu, came from Ekpetedo. The family house is still there. He had the necessary primary and secondary education, but maybe he cannot move further because the parents were handicapped. And therefore, to keep soul and body and soul together, he looked for an odd job. The odd job available at that time was to go to ministries or industrial concern to do manual jobs. And Asiwaju assisted Liasu to further his education until he became a full-fledged chartered accountant. So Liasu is a popular Lagosian. In fact, at one time, Asiwaju, went further. He wanted him to become the chairman of a local government. Liasu was at that time being sponsored by Honorable Batola, to become chairman local government. But we had another candidate. We as leaders of Lagos Island had decided in favor of KDK, Kadiku. And in fact, Asiwaju had a meeting with us, and I told Asiwaju that we, the leaders, had made a decision, leak to us his connection with Liasu, how he met, so that we can see and we can appreciate that his desire was just to advance, the cause of Liasu and afford him an opportunity to serve the people, that he was not interested in lording people over us. So therefore, that is a good example, So we can also move further. The Kábíyèsí of Ikate today, the Oba of Ikate today, Saheed Elegushi, had his education at the Lagos State University. And on leaving university, he engaged in the service of Asiwaju as a PA, at Bodilon. And today, by the grace of God, and the support of Asiwaju, is a frontline traditional chief in the Tiosa, of Lagos State, where I reside. So there are several examples that we can continue, to mention. So Asiwaju is a person who raised the people, Asiwaju is a person who gives people the necessary education. Asiwaju is a person who also assists people, to live on their own. And don't forget, when Asiwaju was the governor of Lagos State, we started the idea of empowerment. The first type of that in Nigeria, where people were empowered with as much as 50,000 to establish business. And a number of people from that arena, all over Lagos State had their own business and they are living comfortably.
Sir, lastly, sir, thank you very much. Lastly, sir, which advice will you give the president? Because May 29, he will be swearing in. After, if he's in the office, what advice in terms of what is really happening in Nigeria, in terms of security, kidnapping, what advice will you give the president?
Well, you are asking for advice to the president. I will, change that and first of all give my advice to Nigerians that all of us as Nigerians must give our maximum support, maximum loyalty to the president. If we are with the president, if we are loyal, if we are steady, nothing will move the country. So the first set of people is all of us, Nigerians, then the president. The president will continue to be himself. Be himself in the sense that he has been gifted. He has been gifted to be a builder of men. To be a person who has raised people. So the development of a country, that is what it means. Give them the necessary education. Provide for them their welfare, housing, the improvement in our economy, the needed thing. And Asiwaju is up to the task. He has his blueprint. He's a person who is a good example for all of us. When he started in Lagos State, he gathered people together, knowledgeable people, and prepare a blueprint, that will last maybe 25 years or 50 years, development of the country. That is a program of development. Where you have a program, you won't miss the road. He started that in Lagos. That development is still continuing. And let me give you some example. He increased the revenue of Lagos State. And this arose the interest of the entire nation. And nearly all the states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria sent their officials to come and land from Lagos State. That one good example. Another example that have been cited, that there was a day I listened to the radio, and a retired chief judge of Abuja, I've forgotten the name, was being interviewed in respect of judicial development of Nigeria. And he cited the development initiated in Lagos State by the Asiwaju, and that all parts of the federation has sent their judicial officers to Lagos to study and copy what is being done. And I remember that Asiwaju provided good housing and increased the fees, the salaries of judges. So there are several examples that we can cite in respect of road development, in respect of hospital management, the welfare of the people. I believe Asiwaju is up to the task. What it is needed is that we as Nigeria should give him the necessary support, and we should continue to pray to the Almighty Creator, the Lord of the universe, to continue to support him, to protect him, to give him the necessary health requirement so that he can deliver. That is my prayer and my position.
Thank you.